Namaste, friends. I'm Heather Wiest with Love Serve Inspire. And today I'll be guiding you through Handstand Helps, an all-level slow flow. For today's practice, we'll be using a yoga strap, 2 blocks, and a blanket. If you do not have these, a large bath or beach towel and 2 thick books would help. I'm here to guide you, but you are always your best teacher. So please, listen to your body, stay safe, and have fun. We'll begin today's class lying on our backs in constructive rest pose. So we'll go ahead and transition there. Slowly coming down onto the mat. We're going to keep the feet about hip width distance or a little bit farther to where you can knock the knees in. So sometimes maybe even towards the outside edges of the mat. And if you do have that yoga strap, I forgot to mention that we'll be using it in a large loop. So you just need to strap it up at the end and just have that close by along with a block or a thick book. We're going to bring one hand to the heart and one hand to the belly. And if it feels comfortable for you, close the eyes. We're going to take 2 deep breaths together. Nice deep inhale in and let it go through the mouth. Another deep inhale and long exhale. Now breathing in and out through the nose, filling up through the belly, the ribs, and the chest. And as you exhale, released from chest, ribs, and belly. I'm just taking a moment here to notice what's on the forefront of the heart and the mind today as you begin your yoga practice. The settling into your space. And creating an intention for your practice. It could be a positive affirmation, it could be a prayer, or a deep heart longing. Just inviting that into your practice. And as we continue noticing and deepening the breath, I want you to imagine that on your next inhalation, you're filling up a helium balloon in your lungs and torso. And then as you exhale, you can envision that helium balloon lifting away from the torso and the body and begin to float up into the sky. And just giving that balloon maybe a color or a unique shape, and just placing inside that balloon any stresses, any cares or worries that you're carrying today, anything that you need to let go of. We'll do about 5 more breaths like that. As you inhale, you're filling up that helium balloon. And then as you exhale, you're releasing it into the sky along with a stress, a particular care or worry. Just watching them float farther and farther into the sky where you cannot see them anymore. Just a great visual to work with the breath. One more complete full breath. Release that last balloon. Place all the cares and worries in there and just let it go. just working with an intention for myself today of taking the right action at the right time. This practice of yoga allows us to be more in the present moment, not focusing on yesterday or the things of the past, or jumping too far ahead into the future. But just right here, right now, this breath, this movement, this action, this focus. And just bringing in that intention of being able to tune in to inner wisdom, divine wisdom, and taking that right action at the right time. So maybe you want to invite that into your practice as well today. And we'll go ahead and release the hands. We're going to take a nice full body stretch. We're going to stay lying down onto our backs. If you have a block or a thick book, you're going to reach for it and place it in between the hands. So the legs can just be comfortable here. I'm just taking my hands around the outside edges of the block and I'm squeezing my hands into the block. So I'm feeling my arms turn on. And I'm going to go ahead and inhale, bring the arms and the block overhead behind me. And I'm continuing to push into the block, so engaging here. I'm actually going to place a flex into my feet. So as my legs are engaged, it helps me engage my arms as well. And then on my next exhale, I'm just going to go ahead and bring that block back down to the thighs or belly, wherever it lands. We're going to do a few more like that. So inhale, lifting up that block, pushing, activating the arms, bringing them in external rotation above the head. And I notice that my ribs want to pop out here. So I'm consciously going to just knit them together and begin to engage that core as I exhale, bringing the block back down. We're just going to do one more here, just getting the actions of proximal stability in the core as we lift the arms up and overhead. So push into that block. Knit those front ribs in together, engaging and bringing stability to the core as the limbs lift up, and then we'll bring them back down. Beautiful job. So we'll go ahead and place that block off to the side. If you have a strap, or you can use a towel here, we're going to be using a large loop. So feel free to just make a buckle at the end. You have a large loop. I'm going to place a bend into my knees, and I'm going to place the loop around the ball of the right foot. And I have the tail nearby in case I need to adjust. And I'm going to go ahead and place the strap behind my head. So not around the neck, but around the head. And you may need to tighten here if you need a little more tethering. So my head is lifting off of the mat. I'm allowing just a nice release for the back of the neck. It's not straining my neck, and I'm releasing through the shoulders here as I get a hamstring stretch in that right leg. If things are going well and the low back is healthy, go ahead and extend that left leg long. So this should feel really yummy. My shoulders are lifting off the mat just naturally, but I'm very relaxed here. I'm letting everything go. I'm keeping my feet flexed to engage the legs and pressing both tops of the thighs towards their hamstrings. So my hamstrings are contracting and stretching at the same time, which is a great way to keep them from injury. So I'm going to take another breath here, and then I'm going to find a nice IT band stretch. And I'm going to take my gaze along with that right foot to the left halfway. You don't even have to go halfway. I'm already feeling it now into the outside of the leg. So I'm pushing the ball of the foot into the strap. I'm relaxing my head into the strap as well. And I'm getting a beautiful stretch all the way from that right glute into the IT band towards the knee. So again, if you don't have that strap, you can do this with a towel, just holding the edges of the towel as it's wrapped around that right foot. One more full breath. And I'm going to bring the leg back to center. I'm going to go ahead and take a bend into my left knee, ground the foot down, and then take that foot up into the strap to meet the right foot. I'm going to hold on to the strap, and I'm going to go ahead and release the right foot down to the mat. So adjusting here if you need to, making sure it's still behind the head if you have that strap going. And then find the ball of the foot pressing into the strap. Feel the hamstring turn on and stretch on that left leg. And if things are going well, extending the right leg long on the mat. Again, a flex in both feet. You're pressing both tops of the thighs towards their hamstring, creating a little space between that left thigh and hip, but relaxing through the jaw and the neck and shoulders. If you'd like, you can close your eyes here. This is a great, great, great stretch and relaxation for the neck. About one more full breath here, and then we'll be taking that IT band stretch. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to keep my gaze towards that left foot so the head moves along with the foot and the strap. And then I begin to feel a beautiful stretch into that left IT band, wrapping around into the glute, keeping the legs engaged, the feet flexed. Breathe into any tightness or tension. 2 more full breaths. And I'll bring that left leg back to center. I'll bring the right foot in to meet the left. You can find a couple of breaths here with both legs in the strap if that feels good for you. Just pushing the feet into the strap, letting the head relax here. 1 more full breath. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring the hands up to the strap. I'm going to release it from behind the head and also the tops of the feet. But I'm going to keep the legs up to the sky. We're going to work some rectus abdominis, very lower abdominal exercises here. I'm going to keep my hands down by the sides. You can even tuck them underneath the glutes if you need a little bit more support for the low back. So we're just going to lift up that pelvis off the mat. Again, it's challenging to make as little movement as possible, really engaging that lower core, the rectus abdominis. So finding that for yourself here, about 5 more lifts, lifting up the pelvis off of the mat. So good for our core, just isolating that particular muscle at the very bottom. 2 more here, working with your breath. Nice job. We're going to hug the knees into the chest, and then we're going to keep the right leg to the sky and place the left foot on the mat. From here, you're going to extend the left leg long, and we're going to interlace the hands behind the head. Allow the head to rest in the hands, and we're going to lift that left foot 1 or 2 inches off of the mat, and we're going to crunch for 10 here. So we're going to exhale, lift, inhale back. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one, hold. I want you to feel the bottom of the sternum dipping under the navel towards the pubic bone. Feel all the core working, and then gently release back down. Nice job, hugging both knees in towards the chest. We're going to take that on the other side. So we'll take the left leg to the sky, right foot to the mat, and then extend the right leg long, a nice flex into both feet. Interlacing the hands behind the head. We're going to lift that right foot 1 or 2 inches off the mat. Exhale, 10, 9. Use your core, not your neck. 8, 7, 6. You got this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold that last one. Bottom of the sternum lifting under the navel towards the pubic bone. Engage the whole core. And then bring the head back down. Hug the knees into the chest. Rock onto the lower back. Nice job, everyone. We're going to go ahead and rock up to seated, transitioning into tabletop position. If you need to come onto the side and use the strength of the arms, feel free to do so. So finding tabletop on hands and knees. Spreading the fingers wide. You have the shoulders over the wrist and you have the hips over the knees. We're going to inhale, bringing the head and the heart forward for your cow shape. And then exhale, rounding into the upper back, drawing the navel to spine in your cow. Continuing with your breath here, let it feel good. adding in any additional movement that feels good for your body. You can take the hips side to side or big hip circles. 3 more full breaths. Creating space and length in the vertebra of the spine, linking our breath with our movement. 1 more. And then returning to neutral tabletop. We're going to get a nice stretch for the legs. So we're going to inhale the right toes back on the mat. A nice flex here and pushing away with the hands. And then the frontal hip points are lifting. So I'm feeling the lower belly turn on. I'm even getting a stretch in that right hip flexor and psoas. And now I'm going to take the right foot, cross it over the left. I'm going to look over that left shoulder. Pushing more into the right hand. I feel that stretch all along the right side of the body. And then we'll go ahead and inhale back to center, grounding the right knee back down. Inhaling the left toes back on the mat. Again, frontal hip points lift here. Navel draws to spine, so get the opening in the front of the thigh as much as you're getting into the foot in the back of that left leg. And then I'm going to cross over, looking over the right shoulder, pushing more into the left hand and relaxing the jaw and my neck as I gaze towards the floor. Nice stretch along that left side. And then we're turning back to center, grounding the left knee down, taking extended tabletop. We're inhaling the right thigh up and back or leg, and I have a nice flex into the foot. Before we transition the arm forward, I really want you to work on hugging in with that left thigh and hip, and the inner thigh of that right leg is reaching towards the ceiling or the sky. Once you have that, I want you to turn on the core. So maybe the frontal hip points lift, or maybe you feel your navel draw to the spine or the tailbone lengthening towards that right heel. Once you have that, push into the right hand, left arm forward, thumb to the sky. Hugging in towards midline, pushing away with that right hand. Lift the arm and leg 1 more inch. And then together, bring that left hand, right knee back to the mat. Feel that engagement. We'll take it to the other side. Inhale that left leg back. Start with the leg. Hug in with that right thigh and hip. Inner thigh of the left thigh reaching towards the sky. Frontal hip points lift. Navel draws into the spine. Tailbone lengthens towards the left heel. Once you have all that, push into the left hand. Right arm forward, thumb to the sky. So really pushing away with that left hand, keeping all the actions we've worked, hugging into midline, lifting 1 more inch, and together, right hand, left knee to the mat. Good work. Puppy dog pose, both arms forward. We're going to go ahead and bring the forehead down to the mat, hips stay over the knees. Feel a beautiful opening into your upper back. Push the hands down and away and turn your upper outer arms on your triceps. Feel that external rotation in the upper arms. Biceps are coming more towards the ears or the ceiling. Really, really, really strong arms as you push the hands away. Lower belly is supporting, drawing in, protecting the low back. 1 more full breath. We're going to go ahead and inhale. Draw the hands back. We're going to prepare for downward facing dog. So tucking the toes under, we're going to exhale the hips up and back. Adho Mukha Vrksasana. So we're pushing the hands down and away. Tops of the thighs are drawing back and up. And then those front ribs are knitting together. Bring some stability to your torso. And then additionally, the upper outer arms are turning on and you're pushing more into the base of the index finger and thumb area of the hand. Feeling all of those actions in your down dog and letting the head very much relax between the biceps. We're going to place a bend into the left knee, grounding the right heel to comfort towards the mat. You should be feeling a stretch somewhere in that right leg. For everybody, it's a little bit different, but it feels very nice as we hold it. Another complete inhale and exhale. And then we're going to go ahead and switch, bend into the right knee, ground the left heel down to comfort. Find that nice stretch in your left leg. Another full inhale and exhale. Grounding both heels down to comfort. We're going to place a generous bend into both knees. It's almost like the belly is going to touch the thighs. You're going to gaze forward, shift into plank pose, shoulders over the wrist, and then exhale, tops of the thighs are drawing you back for downward facing dog. 2 more like that dynamically. Bending into the knees, gaze forward, shift into plank, and then you're drawing back to downward facing dog. 1 more, bend into the knees, gaze forward, shift into plank. Feel that core engagement as you draw the navel to spine, as you draw the thighs back to down dog. So good. We're going to go ahead and walk the feet up towards the hands, coming into ragdoll forward fold. Take the feet a little bit wider, clasp opposite elbows, sway side to side. Anything that feels nice here. Option to interlace the hands behind the back, resting at the sacrum or lifting away from the spine and then drawing the shoulders away from the ears. Let the crown of the head reach towards the mat. And then lastly, interlacing the hands behind the neck gently, elbows drape down towards the mat. Let the head get a nice release and the neck. And then we'll bring both hands to the mat, a generous bend into the knees. Hands to the hips. On the next inhale, the flat back will come up to standing. Let the blood flow come back into the body. We're going to do a really nice energetic breath technique called breath of joy. And it's where we inhale 3 times and we exhale out through the mouth on that 4th little action. And we use arms with it. So we're going to do 7 rounds. I'm going to demo the first round and you can join along with me. It feels really nice in the body and it's a great tool to use anytime when you need a little more energy. So it looks like this. I'm just going to find a nice, comfortable standing position and I'm going to inhale. Join me when you're ready. One more complete round. And then come up when you're ready and find Tadasana. Just allow the eyes to close here. Noticing sensations in the body. If you're not ready to close the eyes, you can keep them open. Just noticing energy flowing from head to toe. And just remembering breath of joy when you need it, anytime throughout your day. And then we'll open the eyes if you have them closed. If you have those books or blocks, we're going to stand on them for our half sun salutations to help open up through the hamstrings a little bit more, making ourselves taller with the blocks, and then we can get a deeper forward fold. So finding Tadasana wherever you're at, and again, you can do this without any propping underneath the feet. And we're just going to work a little bit more of the core engagement. So I want you to really cinch in the waist and draw the belly in. We're engaging that transverse abdominis when we do so. That big, large, deep muscle in the core that is actually the MVP of core stability. So just drawing that in. And then I want you to feel the inner thighs drawing back behind you, releasing through the psoas and creating some space. Might feel a little awkward, like you have a little bit too much arch in the back. And then I want you to draw the tailbone down, frontal hip points lift, and feel the rectus abdominis, those lower abs turn on. So feeling that core stability all throughout your yoga practice. We'll begin our half sun salutations. We're going to inhale the arms up and overhead. And then as you exhale, you're just going to forward fold, press the tops of the thighs back and come all the way down. Let the crown of the head release. We're going to inhale for our half lift and turn your quadriceps on. Engage those legs. And then exhale, fold. Feel a nice stretch for your hamstrings. Root through the feet, sweep the arms all the way up overhead. And then exhale, feel all those core engagements as you draw the hands down to heart and the ribs hug in. 2 more full rounds like that. Inhaling the arms up. Exhale, create space as you reach forward and the tops of the thighs draw back. Inhaling for your half lift, turn those quads on. And then exhale, fold, release. Root through the feet, sweep the arms all the way up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart, those ribs knit in together. 1 more full round. Inhaling the arms up. Exhale, reach the heart, create space, tops of the thighs are pressing back. Inhaling, Ardha Uttanasana, quads turn on. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Root through the feet, sweep the arms all the way up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart, engage everything in the core. And then we'll release the arms down to the sides. We're going to come off of the blocks. You'll have them towards the top of the mat for our sun salutation A modified. So finding Tadasana. We're going to inhale the arms up and overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Create that space between pelvis and thigh. Inhaling for your half lift. Exhale, plant the hands. We're going to take the right leg back. I'm going to have you bring blocks if you need them. You may or may not. We're going to do a dynamic low lunge pyramid stretch. So I'm going to go ahead and straighten through the left leg and flex through the left foot, and then bend into the knee again. We're going to do a couple more rounds like that. Let it feel good in your thighs, in the hips, opening up the legs. 1 more full round here. And then we'll go ahead and find our low lunge, blocks off to the side, transitioning to plank pose. Making sure the shoulders are over the wrist. We're going to exhale through chaturanga all the way to the mat. We're going to inhale for the low cobra. Push through the tops of the feet, the kneecaps lift, elbows hug in. Exhale back down. Tuck the toes. You're going to lift strong through half or full plank. Tops of the thighs are reaching back for your downward facing dog. Another full inhale here. And exhale as you push the hands down and away. We're going to bring that left foot up between the hands, followed by the right. Inhaling for your half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Root through the feet, sweep the arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. We'll take that on the other side. Inhaling the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Lead with the heart, tops of the thighs are pressing back. Inhaling for your half lift. Exhale, bend the knees, this time left leg back. Finding those blocks if you need them for the low lunge dynamic pyramid. So we're going to go ahead and straighten through the right leg, flex through the foot. Take your time and work with your breath. If something feels nice, feel free to hold it. Couple more rounds here. And then finding your low lunge, blocks will come off to the side. Transitioning to plank pose. Exhale through chaturanga. We're going to inhale for low cobra, upward facing dog if the body is ready. Thighs are strong here. Transitioning through plank if you're in that low cobra. We'll all meet in downward facing dog. Another full inhale here. And exhale, tops of the thighs, draw back. Upper outer arms are turned on. We're going to take that right foot up between the hands, followed by the left. Inhaling for your half lift, and then exhale, fold. Root through the feet, sweep the arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart, those front ribs hug in, engage all the core. Beautiful. Our next 2 rounds of Sun A, we're going to add in a little handstand drill. And I'm going to jump back to Chaturanga in my flow. But I encourage you to step back. If that isn't your practice, you can still do everything that we'll be doing. So finding Tadasana. We're going to inhale the arms up and overhead. Exhale, forward fold, lead with that heart. Inhaling for the half lift. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands. Either you're going to step or you're going to jump back to Chaturanga. We'll inhale for low cobra or upward facing dog. And then we'll all meet in downward facing dog. Good job. We're going to take a short down dog here. So I'm going to go ahead and walk my feet in maybe a couple of feet to where I can really shift my shoulders over the wrist. So for press-up handstand, which is not in my practice, this is a great drill to work in towards that. Now, if you're not even close to that, that's okay. And you're just going to hold here while we try to take a few jumps. You're going to hold, keeping the shoulders over the wrist, building that arm and shoulder strength. Now, handstand press-up is not in my practice. If it is for yours, feel free to come into your press-up here. We're going to take 5 jumps with both feet, so feel free to just hold and not jump. So I'm going to go ahead and lift up. I'm keeping the shoulders over the wrist, working the strength of my arms, feeling that action. Maybe you come upside down. 2 more. You got this. Ah, good job. We're going to walk up the feet towards the hands and forward fold. Inhaling, half lift, and then forward fold again. Root through the feet, sweep the arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. I find that drill to be amazing to really bring some strength into the shoulders and arms. So we'll take that on the other side. Inhaling the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Lead with the heart, create space between pelvis and thigh. Inhale for your half lift. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the palms. You're going to step or jump back, coming into Chaturanga. Inhale, low cobra or upward facing dog. Transitioning through plank if you need to, meeting in downward facing dog. We're going to walk our feet in for that short downward facing dog to where we can shift the shoulders over the wrists. So wrists can have sensitivity here. So if that's the case, you can take a little bit longer of a down dog, but we're building strength and flexibility there. As you're ready, you're going to press or jump up. We're going to do 5 jump ups. And there you go. Walk the feet up towards the hands and forward fold. Inhale, another half lift. And release everything down. Root through the feet, sweep the arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Noticing how hard you're working, it's good to strengthen the body. Doesn't matter ever if you get into a handstand. We're doing all the prep and the strengthening and receiving the same results. All right, so we're gonna find Utkatasana, fierce pose. I'm gonna go ahead and take my hands to the mat. Inhale the arms up. I'm going to squat on down. Frontal hip points lift, engage that core. Shin shift back. Arms are turned on and strong. One more full breath. And then exhale, fold. We're going to inhale for the half lift. We're going to exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands. I'm going to take the right leg back. We're going to prepare for crescent pose slowly. So I'm going to go ahead and lift the hands, a couple inches off of the mat. I'm hugging in with that left thigh and hip. Back leg is super strong. Arms by the ears, and then lifting all the way up. Anjaneyasana. So feel the tailbone lengthen down, frontal hip points lift. Gives you a little bit more opening into the hip flexor and psoas muscle. Turn those arms on. One more full breath here in this variation. And then we're going to take a reverse crescent. Right arm is going to stay to the sky. Left hand is going to reach for that right hamstring. If things are going well and you're hugging into midline, you can take your gaze to the ceiling or sky. Keep that generous bend into the front knee, challenging our balance here. And then we'll go ahead and take that left hand back up into Anjaneyasana. We're going to be taking Warrior 3 with the arms forward. If you need to take the hands to heart center for balance, please do so. We're going to shift and lift, Warrior 3. I'm going to need to back up a little bit here. So working the actions again of hugging that left thigh and hip in, the inner thigh of the right leg reaching towards the sky. Little micro bend to the left knee, arms are strong, engage that core. One more full breath, Virabhadrasana 3. And then we're going to take both hands to the mat for standing splits. So as you gaze back, your legs are like the letter L, and feel free to walk the hands back and take that left hand behind the left calf and draw the nose in towards the shin, getting more of an opening into the left hamstring. We're going to have the option of handstand hops here. So bring the hands flat if you want to take those. Shoulders are over the wrists. You want to keep the neutral positioning of the pelvis and the hips to find success here. So you really want to work that left leg that's on the mat. You're going to bend into the knee and you can try to kick up. You can find an L shape or bring that left knee in towards the chest. 3 rounds, whatever you do. Maybe you get stuck upside down. And then we'll return back to standing splits. And then we're going to bring that right foot to the mat, finding low lunge. We're going to take that low lunge pyramid dynamic stretch. If you need the blocks, grab them. Straighten through the left leg and bend into the knee. 2 more rounds here. Smooth and steady the breath. And then we're going to go ahead and bring that right knee to the mat. I'm going to find my both blocks here for Ardha Hanuman half splits. Bring the blocks to the sides of the hip. Nice flex into my left foot, micro bend into the knee. Take a nice deep inhale, pitch forward, keep the space between the pelvis and the thigh, and feel a strong stretch into your left hamstring. Couple more full breaths. Soften through the jaw and the head, steady again through the breath. And then as you're ready, we're going to go ahead and arise, place a bend into the left knee. Blocks will come off to the side. We'll be taking 3-legged downward facing dog. Left leg's going to come up and back. Pelvis is neutral. You're hugging in with the right thigh and hip. Then you'll find downward facing dog. Inhaling into plank pose. Exhale through chaturanga. Inhale low cobra or upward facing dog. Transitioning through plank if you're in low cobra. Tops of the thighs will bring you back for downward facing dog. Pushing the hands down and away. Another complete inhale here. And exhale. We're going to float the right leg up and back. 3-legged dog. Hug in with the left thigh and hip. That right foot's going to come between the hands. We're going to prepare for crescent pose slowly. So lifting the hands a couple inches off of the mat. Really draw in that right back leg. Then we'll take the arms by the ears. Strong arms rooted through both feet. Inhale, use the strength of the core and the legs to bring you up. Anjaneyasana. Lengthening that tailbone down. Feel the opening in that front hip flexor. Strong arms, turn on. Hugging in with that right thigh and hip. We're going to take that reverse crescent. So the left arm will stay to the ceiling or sky. Right hand will reach back for the left hamstring. Bend into the front knee. If things are going well, hug into midline and gaze towards the sky or ceiling. Another full breath. Then we'll go ahead and bring the gaze back. Bring the right arm back up, preparing for warrior three. Again, with the arms forward if you can. It's more of a challenge. It's a classic variation. If you need to draw the hands to heart center, no worries. So we're going to shift and lift. Keep a neutral pelvis and hip as you lift up. Hug in with right thigh and hip. Inner thigh of left thigh to the sky. Hard flex on that foot, micro bend into the right knee. Lifting, lifting, lifting. Draw down with that left thigh. One more full breath. And then bringing the hands to the mat, standing splits. Legs are in an L shape. You're gazing back, relaxing the neck. Right hand will come back behind that right calf, drawing the nose in towards the shin for a deeper stretch. We're working our handstand hops. So again, shoulders over the wrist. You're working that standing leg more than anything else, and you're creating that neutral hip as you draw that right thigh in. So go ahead and bend into the knee, lifting up. Again, you can have L shape or draw the knee in towards the chest. One more here. And then finding that low lunge, bringing the left leg back and a bend into the right knee. We'll do that dynamic stretch. So straighten through the right leg, bend into knee, grab blocks if you need to. 2 more rounds. Should feel good. And then we'll release the left knee to the mat, finding our half split. So grabbing blocks if you have them. And nice flex into the right foot. Little micro bend into the right knee. Take a nice deep inhale, pitching forward. Get a beautiful stretch in the back of that right leg. Feel the core turn on here. You're creating space between the pelvis and the thigh. One more full breath. Then we'll go ahead and release, come back up, blocks to the side. We'll be transitioning into 3-legged downward facing dog. So finding low lunge, right leg will come up and back, 3-leg dog. Hug in with the left thigh and hip. We'll bring the foot down, downward facing dog. Inhale into plank pose. Exhale through chaturanga. Inhale, low cobra, upward facing dog. Strong legs. Transitioning through plank if you're in low cobra. Finding downward facing dog for everyone. Pushing the hands down and away. Tops of the thighs reaching up and back. Upper outer arms are strong and you're pushing through every area of the hand. We're going to bend into the knees. We're going to gaze forward. We're going to step or float to the top of the mat. Inhale for the half lift and exhale, fold. Inhaling, Utkatasana, fierce pose. Frontal hip points lift. Shin shift back. Squat down a little more. Arms are super strong. One more full breath. Inhale up. Exhale. Hands to heart. Good job, everyone. We're going to go ahead now and bring our mat to the wall. We'll be using the wall for a few things, just prepping for handstand. So find a wall in your home that you could place your mat against. If you're proficient in handstand away from the wall, again, you're an exception, but we will be using the wall for our stretches later. All right, so another strengthening exercise that I'm going to do, I like to call it blanket sweepers. So it's a great one to strengthen the core and give a sense of what a piking action might feel like as we work towards a pike up handstand. So I'm going to go ahead and take a blanket. You could easily use a towel here. And you're definitely going to need a non-carpeted area to do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transition into a plank pose, and I'm going to bring my feet onto the blanket or the towel. I'm going to keep my shoulders over the wrist. I'm going to keep that stationary. I'm going to move my legs as I sweep that blanket in and the feet towards the wrist. And I'm going to slide back out. So we're going to do 5 of these, slow and controlled, really engaging that rectus abdominis and that low belly, but also the entire core plus shoulder strengthening. So find this for yourself. It's not easy. It's very effective, and you clean your floors while you're at it. So there you go. It's a bonus. Oh, I think I have one more. Take your time here. If you're all done, we'll go ahead and transition back up. If you need a child's pose, feel free to take it at any time. All right, another handstand drill that I really enjoy is creating an L shape at the wall. Again, it's very strengthening for the arms and the shoulders. So to define the placement of the hands for this pose, you want to sit up against your wall and see where your heels land. Now this looks easy to do the L shape of the wall. It really is not easy. And it's nice to have a witness that's able to tell you whether you're actually in that L shape. Oftentimes we want to take our feet way higher on the wall. So you'll watch me as I do that. And I don't have a witness today, so you get to be my witness and let me know if my legs are in L shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark where my heels were, and that's where my hands are going to go. And it's not going to feel right when I come up the wall. It's going to feel like my hands are not in the right spot, but they are, and you got to trust it, and you have to be able to really move beyond the sensation of needing to have the shoulders not over the wrist. So you'll get to feel that once you come up. So I'm going to go ahead and walk my feet up the wall. And oftentimes we want to walk the feet way high like this. Feels better. But I want to make an L shape with my body. Straighten the legs, strengthen the arms. And it's so much work, I'm telling you, but you got to try it. So try to hold 5 full breaths, super straight arms. And then slowly come down and take a child's pose. So your turn. Again, you're totally safe. You're supported at the wall. But man, does it strengthen the body and give you a sense of what handstand truly feels like when you stack all of the joints. So play with that. Feel free at any time to pause this video to work on a particular drill and then replay and come back to it at any time. That will help you. So again, the L shape at the wall is very, very enlightening of how much we need to really strengthen the shoulders and use the core in our handstand work. So what we're going to do now is we're going to play with handstand at the wall, kicking up from similar like standing splits we did in our flow. Now for some people it's very hard to keep those strong straight arms. So a great tool to use, if that is you, is a strap. So I'm just going to show you, I'm not going to be demoing the strap today, but it is effective for so many people in keeping the arms straight. So you would narrow the strap, and the strap would go on the forearms below the elbows. So you don't want it on the joint. And you would like to place it where you would normally have your hands down on the mat. So whatever that is for your shoulders. So what this helps you do is it helps you tether into the strap and you actually feel very supported, and it does help many get into a handstand with that arm engagement. So again, feel free to use that tool as well. So when I come up into a handstand at the wall, I'm going to be starting in that standing splits. I like to work the L shape up to the wall. Some people like to draw their knee into the chest. So you'll figure out what works best for your body. And I like to be just a tad away from the wall, maybe a foot or foot and a half with my hands. So I'm going to demo once on each side, and feel free to do this if you're proficient in handstand. Feel free to work on your press up or work into handstand splits with both legs going into splits. So that would be the challenge pose here. I'm going to demo a kick up on each side, and I do encourage that you work your weak leg first. It's humbling and it's not fun, but that's how your weaker leg is going to get stronger. So it's the one that feels awkward, the one you wouldn't normally kick up with first. So again, feel free to work on this, or if you're not ready to go there yet, don't want to go upside down, feel free to do the blanket sweeper core exercise, or you can try that L shape again at the wall. So I'm going to go ahead and take my hands down about a foot and a half away, and then first of all, you want to keep shoulders over the wrists. Now I'm going to work my weaker leg first, which is not pretty, so we will try it. So I want to hug in with that outside thigh and hip, and I really want to work the leg that's pushing into the mat to lift me up. So I'm going to try to kick up here. I'm going to try again. And then I got my legs up to the wall. Now, the art of floating and finding that hang time is find the tiger paws in the hands. And then all the actions we've been working, inner thighs drawing back, tailbone towards the heels. Here I go. A little bit of hang time for me. You can always take a break in a child's pose between sides. So again, you're never going to get into a handstand unless you practice. So practice is key, and I've heard if you practice anything 10 minutes a day, you will improve on it. So what do you want to work on? Take 10 minutes a day working on that. So wherever you're at, we're going to do another drill or the other side. This feels like my better side for me, so I'm going to work on that now. Working my way to the wall. Definitely there. And then finding the floating action. You can take a foot away, you can bend into the knee, anything that helps you here. So I like tiger pawing my hand. And I'm going to try one more time, finding a little more air time. And then everybody will take a child's pose wherever you're at. What I do like about handstand, it's strengthening for my body, of course, but it also feels fun. Feels like a little kid-like action. So just making time to play. One more full breath in our child's pose. Then we're going to transition back up to standing. We're going to take puppy dog at the wall. So we're going to make an L shape now with our torso and the legs. So I'm going to take my hands to the wall. I'm going to walk my feet back a little bit wider than hip width distance. I'm going to bend into my knees, and I'm going to get a nice lengthening through my spine. Now as I do this, I'm engaging my core just to get a nice support for the low back. So let it feel good here. Holding a couple more full breaths. And then I'm going to go ahead and walk in. We're going to take a forward fold using the wall. It's a very supportive, yummy forward fold. I'm going to take my feet as wide as the mat. I'm going to take my hands to the mat, and then I'm going to walk my back up to the wall. I'm going to push my back into the wall, and then I'm going to clasp opposite elbows, and I'm going to let myself hang. Oh, this feels really, really good. So trust yourself here as you push the back into the wall, just getting a calming forward fold. Couple more full breaths here. And I'm going to go ahead and take my hands to the mat. I'm going to walk away just a little bit. I'm going to circle my torso back up, and I'm going to place my hands on the wall. I'm going to ground the forehead to the wall. Nice way to get grounded, allowing the blood flow to come back into the body. And then I'll go ahead and step away from the wall. We'll be transitioning into Malasana squat. Just for a few breaths, if you need that blanket or towel underneath the heels to support you, or you need to sit on a block, please do so. So I'm going to take my feet about hip width distance. The feet can be straight or turned out, whatever feels best for your thighs and hips. And then we're going to come on down for Malasana squat. Super pose to do every day to release the lower back. Keep it healthy, bringing mobility to the ankles as well. Allowing the eyes to close here, just returning to your intention and just noticing how our yoga practice has kept us present. We haven't been reflecting on the past or what's coming ahead in the future, but we've been focusing on that right action at the right time for us. I'm going to go ahead and sit down on my bottom, and I'm going to take the legs out in front of me. I'm going to make sure I can kind of reach back towards the wall. We'll be using that. I'm going to bend into the right knee, nice and tall. I'm going to take my right hand to the wall, ground it there. I'm going to wrap my left arm around the right knee, getting a really nice twist. I want to flex into the left foot. I'm going to take a nice deep inhale as I lengthen. Then exhale, find a beautiful twist and use the wall as resistance. Another deep inhale as you lengthen. Exhale, create a little more twist and space. And then we'll go ahead and release that. We're going to take Adho Mukha Vrksasana. So I'm going to cross the right foot over the left leg, and I'm going to try to stack the knees. For some bodies, so I'm going to go ahead and stack the knees, and then I'm going to try to forward fold. So I have a nice flex into the foot. I'm going to have the hands wherever it's comfortable, let the head relax. You can even use a block for the forehead if you'd like. So most people will either feel this in the left leg, particularly the outside of the leg, or the right hip. Wherever you feel it is where you need it. 3 more deep full breaths. I also feel it in a nice QL release in my lower back. It feels really good. 1 more complete breath. Then we'll go ahead and inhale on up. We're going to switch sides, extend the right leg long. We'll place a bend into the left knee. I'm going to reach my left hand back towards the wall. I'm going to inhale the right arm up, and I'm going to wrap it around that left knee. So inhaling, finding a nice lengthening through the torso. Exhale, find your twist, a nice flex also into that right foot, keeping the right leg engaged. Couple more full breaths. Then we go ahead and release that left hand, finding Adho Mukha Vrksasana. So crossing that right foot over the left leg, finding your placement for your body. Taking a nice deep inhale and just pitching forward to comfort. You can land the hands, use the block for the head if you'd like. Breathe into all the sensations. Two more full breaths. And we'll go ahead and inhale, rise. We're going to release both legs straight out. I'm going to find a forward fold, Paschimottanasana. Feel free to bend as much as you need to here. We're going to inhale the arms up. Reach for the toes, grab onto something. Nice deep inhale as you lengthen and extend through the spine. And then exhale, forward fold. Again, bend the knees as much as you need to. Forward folds are very calming for the nervous system as we bring a little pressure to that vagus nerve in the torso. Scientifically proven to really help your nervous system. And just remembering that 10 minutes per day of something you want to work on, grow in, improve. 10 minutes is all you need each and every day. One more full breath. Go ahead and inhale back up. We're going to transition onto our back just for a quick little twist. So we're going to come on back, use the strength of the core to bring you down. Full body stretch if that feels good for your body. We're going to hug the left knee into the chest, and we'll be twisting to the right, just a crossover stretch. So the right hand on the outside of that left thigh, left arm out into a T beside you. Just finding a gentle twist here, 5 full breaths. And we'll go ahead and inhale back to center, hug both knees in. And then we'll keep the right knee into the chest, left leg will come long. We'll take the left hand on the outside of that right thigh and then find your stretch on this side. Right arm out to the side like a T. Stretches lots of different areas of the body, outer hip, spine, shoulders. One more full breath. And then we'll inhale back up, hug both knees in. We'll be taking a happy baby. So we're going to take the feet to the sky, reach for the outside edges, and draw the knees in towards the armpits. You can feel free to rock a little gently onto the low back, just releasing the lower back and the hips through this pose. 2 more full breaths. And then we're going to go ahead and come on up to seated, transitioning however it's comfortable for you. For Shavasana today, we're going to be taking legs up the wall. Just a beautiful inversion and very calming for the mind and the body. And I'm going to be in a supported variation today. So if you have a strap and a block, I'm going to demo what that looks like. And then feel free to take legs up the wall or feel free to take a classic Shavasana with any support that you would like. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be placing a block narrow ways between the calf, between the shins and the calf. And then I'm going to be wrapping the strap all around my legs here. So this about width will work. I'm going to go ahead and take my legs up first and then find the support. So I like it because then my legs can truly relax and just reach into the strap. So legs up the wall, bringing one hip to the wall, and then shimmy yourself as close as you'd like. And then again, the narrow block between the calves, the strap around the calves and the shins. I'm going to buckle it up to where it's tight enough to where I can really relax and be supported and not have to move. There we go. Once you have that, notice how that feels in the body. And then arms can be where they're comfortable. They can be at your sides. You can have a soft diamond above the head. Just anything to where circulation remains steady in the arms. And then allowing the eyes to close. Scanning the body head to toe. Notice where you grip and where you tighten. Right now, as I start at the head, I just notice my face being tight and my jaw tight. So consciously relaxing cheekbones, face, and jaw. Softening through the sides of the neck. Letting the shoulders draw down away from the ears, softening into the earth. Letting the core relax now. We engaged the core a lot today. Let it be soft. Let the breath flow freely through the belly. And then relaxing the thighs, the knees, calves, shins, feet, and toes. Letting the body be heavy. With the heart space remaining light and buoyant, always ready to receive. Shavasana. welcome to stay here as long as you'd like. If you're ready to transition, just drawing the attention to the breath, beginning to deepen the breath, lengthening out the exhalation. Your breath of life flowing freely, each breath a purpose. Bringing some gentle movement to fingers and toes, rocking the head gently side to side. If the legs are up the wall, you're going to place a bend into the knees. You're going to take a moment to release any propping that you have. And we'll transition into a fetal position on either side, letting the blood flow come back into the legs. And just noticing here the sensations in the body. Noticing the effects of the practice. And coming back to your intention. And seeking wisdom on how to take that right action at the right time. Remembering to let go of your stresses and cares and worries, and to really live in this present moment, not jumping back or moving too far forward. Right now is the moment that matters the most. Take advantage of it and appreciate it. As you're ready, we're going to use the strength of the arms to make our way into a comfortable seat. As you find that comfortable seat, just drawing the hands into heart center, allowing the eyes to close. Just a few breaths here of quiet reflection and meditation, fully integrating our practice. Allow yourself to listen and receive. It's always an honor and a pleasure to guide you through your practice. Thank you for sharing your beautiful presence with me. From the light within me, I honor and respect the light within you. Walk in grace and peace and shine bright, my friend. Much love and namaste. Thank you for joining me today. You can stay connected with me on my website, loveserveinspire.com.